In this video, we're going to take a look at an orange ink by Sailor, their Kobe number 11. Now, as always, there's timestamps down below so you can skip around, but if you've got the time, it really does help me out for you to check out the entire video. Also, down in the description is a link to the orange ink playlist, so if you wanted to see more, you could find that there. I'm an ink guy, and let's get into the first writing sample done on 90 GSM Clairfontaine. No bleeding, no ghosting. We have no feather, spread, halo sheen, no shade in any of this writing. Now the extra fine is lighter than the medium, and the medium's lighter than the stub. Extra fine took 11 seconds to dry, and the medium took 18. Scrubby for both show us no color variation, and we're not getting it in the writing. Now the smear test says you likely could not recover if you smeared while you were writing. To have a range of experience with this ink, all of the writing samples are done with a Jinhao 159 with a 1.1 stub, a Jinhao X450 with a medium, and a Jinhao X750 with an extra fine. Then a Lamy 2000 with a medium nib was inked up, used for a day, and used to take the notes for this video. The next writing sample is done on 52 GSM Tomoe River. No bleeding, no ghosting. We have no feather, spread, halo sheen, no shade. This stub's the darkest tone on the page. A little lighter than that is the medium, and then a little lighter than that is the extra fine. The extra fine took 18 seconds to dry, while the medium took 29. Their scrubbies gave no color variation, and neither did the writing. And the smear test you probably could not recover if you smeared while you were writing. I agree with Vita. There's a lot to learn by doing multiple chromatographies. The one on the left is done the way it's supposed to be done. A line of ink is put down, and then it's put into water for 10 to 15 seconds. Now, initially looking at this, I expected to be able to see a ton of shading in this ink. We see that there's a pink on the bottom, and it does form a little bit of a line and pushes its way up. And then we get this nice bright red and a brighter yellow across the top. The one on the right that's allowed to dry for 10 minutes, it really looks the same, so I'm not expecting any kind of added resistance, but I do think that that pink might hang out for just a little bit. The next writing sample is done on 80 GSM Rhodia dot pad. No bleeding, no ghosting. We get no feather, spread, halo sheen, and no shade. Now the extra fine and medium are the same tone as each other, and they're a bit lighter, quite a bit lighter than that stub. That stub, it kind of looks a little red-leaning orange, don't you think? Now, the extra fine took 13 seconds to dry, and a medium took 20, and the scrubby for both gave no color variation because there's none in the writing. The smear test says you probably could not recover if you smeared while you were writing. Resistance tests are done to see how this ink could be expected to perform on a page, and more importantly, how hard it may be to clean from your pen. The smear is allowed to dry for 3 days before testing it. Looking at the highlighter, it definitely has a lot of spread and woolliness that's occurring. However, you can read what's there, so if you wanted to use it in a note-taking situation and go back and highlight, you could. Water is reactivating and lifting most of it, though you do see a bunch of that pink left behind. When it comes to the pen flush, really look at the edge. Around the edges, you start to see the yellow, which is weird, because that was the one that fled the most. Now, it doesn't appear to do a whole lot, but in reality, it only took water to get it out of my pen. The 1/3 bleach solution is completely removing it from the paper, though discoloring it just a little bit. The next writing sample is done on life paper. No bleeding, no ghosting. We get no feather, spread, halo sheen, no shade. The extra fine's a lot lighter than the medium, and the medium's a lot lighter than the stub. Extra fine took 11 seconds to dry, while medium took 19. Scrubby for both gave no color variation, and we're not getting it. And the smear test, you maybe could. That's kind of a coin toss, but you might be able to recover that if you smeared while you were writing. For the inks tested, the average viscosity was 2.5, with the realm of normal being from 2.1 to 2.9. Sailor Kobe's number 11 has a viscosity of 2.07, means it's just a little bit wetter than normal. If you're interested in how the viscosity test is done, then down in the description is a link to that video. The next writing sample is done on G-Lalo paper. No bleeding, no ghosting. No feather, no spread, no halo, no sheen, no shade. The interesting thing is the stub is much lighter than it has been in previous writing samples. Same tone as the medium, and the extra fine is lighter than both, but not tremendously lighter. The extra fine took 8 seconds to dry, while the medium took 13. Scrubby for both said no to color variation, and the writing said no, you get no shading. The smear test you probably could not recover if you smeared while you were writing. For the inks tested, the average dry time was 17 seconds, with the realm of normal being from 13 to 21 seconds. Sailor Kobe number 11 has an average dry time of 18 seconds, so it's normal. The last writing sample is done on Franklin Christoph paper. That first thing you're seeing, that's not a bleed spot, that's a smear from a different page. Other than that, we have no bleeding and no ghosting. We have no feather, spread, halo sheen, and no shade. The medium's a little bit lighter than the stub, the extra fine's a little bit lighter than the medium. Extra fine took 7 seconds to dry, while the medium took 11. Scrubby for both said no to color variation, and the writing agreed. The smear test you probably could not recover if you smeared while you were writing. Instead of finding inks that look like Sailor Kobe number 11, I'd prefer to find an ink that complements its color on the page. I decided to go with a blue-black ink by Herbin, their Bleu Nuit. Now, if you'd prefer a different complement color, then down in the description are links to those playlists. So what do I think of Sailor Kobe number 11? This is bright on the page, but not so bright your eyes bleed after reading a whole page of it. I find as an orange, it's kind of, just there. There's nothing wrong with it. I just definitely have orange I prefer over this. So what nib and pen are going to give the best writing experience with this ink? Since we really don't get shading here, it's about choosing that tone, and I found that a medium flow, medium nib, right in the center of what it does in tone, not too dark, not too light, just right. I hope you got something out of this video, and in the next video, we're going to take a look at a purple ink by Diamine, Purple Pizzazz.